is a vast array of sparkling wine styles found around the world, beyond Champagne, Cava, and Prosecco. Today we are going to talk about the history and how they are made. Let's start from the beginning by talking about the anatomy of the sparkling wine bottle. First you have the muselet, which covers the cork and keeps it in place. Then you have the annulus, and finally the punt that is located at the bottom of the bottle. Today when you think of champagne, you think of sparkling wine. But back in the 1600s, this was not the case. Early wine from Champagne was a light pink still Pinot Noir. Champagne is located in the northern part of France at 48 degrees north latitude. Benedictine monk Dom Perignon has been credited for the invention of champagne for a long time. However, he spent most of his career trying to rid the wine of this sparkle. He was considered the master blender, and he also found a way to create white wine from red grapes. In the 1600s, advances in glass making in Great Britain helped to increase the stability of the glass used for champagne. Barbe Nicole Ponsardine, also known as Madame Clicquot, was pivotal in moving the champagne industry forward in the 1800s. It was an employee at her winery that created the invention of riddling, which removed the yeast from the bottom of the bottle, clearing up champagne forever. We're going to start off with the traditional method, which is also known as method champenois. This is the method of winemaking that is used in the Champagne wine region. A primary fermentation takes place first, where yeast converts sugar into heat, alcohol, and CO2, and usually it goes up to about 11% alcohol. Once this primary fermentation is complete, the wine will be filtered and it will get an addition of yeast, sugar, and bentonite, which is a fining agent, and they will all be bottled under a crown cap. The secondary fermentation takes place within this bottle, and the byproducts are the same, but this time the CO2 has nowhere to go, so it dissolves into solution, creating those bubbles that we taste in our wine. Once fermentation is complete, the yeast will fall to the bottom of the bottle and the wine will age for months, sometimes years. This adds creaminess to the texture of the wine, as well as flavors of toast, brioche, and yeast. After aging, the yeast must be removed, which is a complicated process. First, you must riddle the bottles to get the yeast to the neck of the bottle. This is done over a 4 to 6 week period at a quarter turn a day until the bottle is sur point. Machines called gyro pallets can be used to process 500 bottles at one time. It works 24 hours a day and completes the job in 1 week. This is used in the production of Cremant as well as Cava. Once the bottle is sur point, the neck of the bottle is frozen. Then you go through the messy process of disgorging the yeast. The pressure inside, which is usually about 5 to 6 atmospheres of pressure, pushes the yeast plug out, leaving clean wine behind. This stage, the wine is completely dry, and this is when sugar is added. The terminology for sweetness in sparkling wine can be rather confusing. In fact, in the 19th century, champagne was actually sweet. It was actually sweeter than the Coca-Cola of today. As time went by, producers started to add less sugar, calling it demi-sec or half-dry. With success of this product, they created a category called sec or dry. In 1846, no sugar was added at all, and critics called this wine severe or brut-like. This cork is what is in a standard wine bottle. This is a champagne cork. It isn't until it's placed inside the bottle that it gets that mushroom shape. Now let's talk about the Charmat method, also known as the tank method. Primary fermentation takes place the same way as it does in traditional method, but the secondary fermentation takes place inside a special pressurized tank. An average wine tank would fail under the pressure of sparkling wine. This process is how Prosecco is made and creates a more fruit-forward wine. Injection or carbonation method takes place in a pressurized tank, but instead of a secondary fermentation, this wine is injected with CO2 under pressure at cold temperatures. Examples of this are Australian sparkling Shiraz.